Friday. I mean, it's actually Thursday, but I won't be able to do it Friday probably. So here's my week. What did I do? Well, let's start with the camera profile. So I'm still trying to lock down a good video profile that I don't have to do any coloring or anything on in post. And I think I figured it out. So this is just portrait mode with no adjustments. I did a bunch of stills tests with the JPEGs, and this seemed to be the most pleasing for skin tone. So hopefully, I won't have to mess with anything this time. I think I tried natural last time, and it was close, but I didn't like it so much. So this is just portrait mode, which is weird because that's also the mode when I was using Sony's. That seemed to be the best, like the flattest mode you could use. So portrait mode. Did I write this week? I did not. And there's construction happening all around me, which is why I'm trying to go fast here. No, but I need to. I still need to knock out 1.5 pieces of my portfolio. That's due a week from. It's due Wednesday. It's due in several days. Less than a week. It'll be done. I'll do it. I work better one at a time. I like switching projects that require a huge amount of brain energy. I don't like to do when I don't have to, but so ideally after Friday when I upload my project for school, the only thing I'll have left will be the writing, and then I'll actually be able to do it for several days. That's the hope anyway. Did I read? The only thing I read this week was for my workshop, and it was a half hour, and that's really all I can say about it. Stuff that I watched this week. I keep watching Barry on HBO. It keeps getting better. Silicon Valley is having a pretty good, solid season. Let's see. I watched. I was a big fan of the first Super Troopers. So the second one finally came out. I've been waiting like 3 years, and it was pretty decent. A lot of rough around the edges stuff still. Particularly, there's a scene in the beginning that they just didn't shoot it correctly. It was like film school shot it, but it's fine, and it did really well at the box office. So good for them. That feels like that was a really good move. They will have something after this as a team of actors and writers and producers because it did so well at the box office. So they made a good move. I would liken this to like a smaller version of Deadpool 2 years ago, where it took forever to get made and people didn't want to make it, but when it finally got made, it did incredible. Obviously, Deadpool did far better than whatever Super Troopers 2 could do, but same idea. Like now that it's proven and the audience showed up, it can do no wrong, kind of a thing. So good for them. Good for Broken Lizard for pulling that off. I have mixed feelings about the fact that they crowdfunded it, but they got funding and it did well. So I also watched Isle of Dogs, and I used to be a huge Wes Anderson fan. The Darjeeling Limited, yeah, that's my favorite Wes Anderson movie, Darjeeling Limited. But I don't know. This animation I like live action more than animation for Wes Anderson. I know he seems to be doing better in stop motion stuff than he does live action stuff. Like he's not interested in live action for whatever reason anymore, or at least right now. But I like his live action stuff more. So, but I think I'm also aging out. Like he likes to tell sort of fantastical child stories ish, and I may be too old and too cynical to really appreciate it now, which is too bad. But writing tip. Okay, so this is based on what's happened for a few weeks now, but it's that rare time when you come across a script that is like there's something magical about it, there's something really special about it, and you can tell right away. and so I had that experience. I've had that experience twice recently, which is pretty crazy. It's too bad it's not happening to me, but clearly I'm doing something wrong. But it was this idea that like chase the magic. Like once you accidentally or intentionally happen upon magic on the page, it's just your responsibility to curate that magic. You don't wanna cut the ears off. You don't wanna like make it worse. So you got to be really careful, but also just service what makes the script magical. I was talking with a buddy about this, and I think every script every story has the potential to have the magical element in it, the holy crap experience on the page. I think it harkens back to the sort of like the seed of the idea, the core of the idea, and properly delivering that sort of like hard to grasp core of the idea, being able to deliver the idea in your head efficiently onto the page. That is, I believe, where the magic happens, because I think much of it is the writer's voice and the writer's point of view, and if those two things are really properly fleshed out on the page, you can forgive a lot. Because once you get to the magical situation, you can polish and make it better, but it's real hard to get to the magical situation. I'm kind of PO'd because I spent 3 years in grad school and didn't have a magical script, and it's completely my fault. So I got to go back now and into however many scripts that I wrote, 6 or 8, and find the kernel of what was so great about the idea, and try to shoehorn service that back into my stuff, and maybe some magic will show up. Hard to say. Moving on, because there's just so much noise around me. Box office was pretty wild. I did a bad job guessing. I got 1, 2, and 3, which was Quiet Place, Rampage, I Feel Pretty, but I screwed up 4 and 5, which was, I said Truth or Dare and Ready Player One, and it turns out it was Super Troopers and Truth or Dare. So Super Troopers did unexpectedly well, which is great, because it was not supposed to make a whole lot of money. It was just supposed to like show up, but it did quite well. So I think it got number 1 on Thursday night previews, and possibly number 1 on Friday preview, or Friday tickets, which is crazy. I guess Thursday night makes sense because Friday was 420. Yeah. Anyway, there's a whole 420 campaign around Super Troopers. Yeah, it's a good job for them. This week, I think it's going to be incredibly easy to guess, because Avengers: Age of Ultron is coming out, and so everybody's going to see that, and everything else on the list is probably not going to get almost any ticket sales at all. But there's going to be Avengers, A Quiet Place, which is still doing incredible, Rampage, I Feel Pretty, and Super Troopers. That's what I think. I will go see Avengers, almost certainly not this weekend, because I just don't want to sit in the crowd. I don't know. I'm pretty stale on the superhero stuff, but I'm interested to see what happens. I don't think it's going to be quite as good or quite as satisfying of a story as earlier Marvel movies, because everything was sort of building to this, and I don't necessarily agree with that logic of how to tell a giant story. I don't know how the superhero story style hype can get high enough to actually be satisfying. But we'll see what happens. Hopefully something happens in the regards to like humanizing, or bringing the stakes back to like appreciable levels where a person's death is actually important. If they can do that, then I think the story will be incredibly satisfying and good. Too big to fail. That's sort of my opinion on it. It's so big, and there's so much behind it, and there's so many years of planning, anticipation, and luck that led up to this giant Avengers Age of Ultron release what is it called? Infinity War, I'm sorry. Infinity War release that it's going to do incredible no matter what. I hope the story is good enough to at least be good. But really the bar is so low on the quality of the story because the tickets are already sold. So much construction. Keep up the good work. I'm in my final week and a half of grad school and busy and so much further past burned out that it's incredible. I don't think I've ever been more burned out creatively. I was going to say, there's definitely been times in my life where I've been more burned out, but creatively, I am fishing in dirt. And with all that banging, have a good week.